France crash out of Euro 2020. Spain claim a thrilling victory over Croatia. Messi breaks another record. Ramos considers 3 clubs and a transfer roundup, all coming up on today's OneFootball Daily News. As I'm your host, Angelina Kelly, let's get into it. First up, and last night marked the most thrilling night of Euro 2020 so far, as Switzerland knocked France out of the competition on penalties. For Switzerland, this is the first time that they have got through a major tournament knockout round game since 1938, and they deserved it. They got off to a great start in the game, getting the first goal. Yes, they had a penalty saved by Hugo Lloris, and France did grow into the game with 2 brilliant goals from Karim Benzema and a phenomenal 30-yard strike from Paul Pogba that definitely has to be one of the goals of the tournament. But the fact that Switzerland still managed to score 2 goals in the final moments of the game, take it to extra time, and then win on penalties just shows how much character this team has. But for France, they are out of the competition, and you do have to look at where the blame does lie. Of course, there is Didier Deschamps. He started with a 3-man defence, something that he doesn't normally use. It was apparently due to the fact that obviously 2 left-backs were injured. He ended up switching this within the first half. It was that bad. But you can't just blame him. You definitely have to look at the players as well, as on the whole squad was pretty underwhelming. I think that Paul Pogba can definitely walk away with his head held high. He's put in some brilliant performances. I think that Karim Benzema has come back into the France national side really well. But apart from those 2, I do feel like there are other players that do need to be questioning themselves. And one, yes, is probably Kylian Mbappe. Now, it is such a shame that his penalty was saved last night. I really do feel sorry for the player, and hopefully he's not blaming himself too much, as it's not his fault at the end of the day that France have crashed out of this competition. And I'm sure that this is just a minor blip in his career. But looking at his performances on the whole away from the penalty, he was a little bit underwhelming. I think the hopes were high, especially looking at his form during the World Cup and his form for PSG this season. But unfortunately, it was just not meant to be for the player. He simply couldn't find the back of the net throughout the tournament, despite the fact that he had 14 shots. I think that both the manager and the players have to take blame for this. I know that Deschamps has said in the media that he does take responsibility, and it will be interesting to see what happens with his future with the national team, especially with Zinedine Zidane reportedly waiting in the wings. For Switzerland, captain Granit Xhaka was fantastic. He seemed to be absolutely everywhere. He may not have scored a goal, but he was brilliant. Such a vital cog in the machine for the team. He lifted their spirits. He kept them going even when they were down and even when they were winning. Unfortunately, his yellow card means that he will not feature against Spain, and he will be a massive miss. And speaking of Spain, they are through to the next round of the competition after an amazing victory over Croatia. The game had 8 goals overall, and Spain took the win 5-3. For Spain, they didn't get off to the best start. 20 minutes into the game, Unai Simon failed to control a 49-yard back pass from Pedri, and it resulted in an own goal. But fortunately for both Simon and Pedri, this was not the talking point of the game. Simon definitely managed to redeem himself with some brilliant saves, and actually the own goal was a good thing for Spain, as it really did seem to motivate them, and it brought a new lease of life to the team. In the final moments of the game, it was 3-1 to Spain. They were looking pretty comfortable and poised to beat Croatia and head into the next round, but Croatia brought on 2 substitutions that completely rocked the boat. They managed to get 2 goals and they dragged the game into extra time. But in extra time, it was Spain that got 2 goals, and one of the goal scorers was Alvaro Morata, who out of anybody in that Spain squad deserved the goal. He has come under so much criticism for Spain during this tournament. Yes, he has missed some big chances, but he has also stated that his family have been threatened due to his poor form, which is absolutely atrocious, and I am so happy that he has managed to prove his critics wrong with that brilliant goal. And hats off to Croatia. I feel like had they been a little bit more clinical with their chances, they could have caused even more disruption to Spain and even potentially won the game, but it wasn't meant to be. Meanwhile, looking at Spain, since that victory over Slovakia, it seems to be a completely different side that we are seeing. There were so many concerns over this team, but now they are looking pretty good. I think the fact that they were able to bounce back, not only from the own goal, but the fact that they were dragged into extra time just shows the strength of this team. Of course, they'll face Switzerland. It's not going to be an easy game, but I think that Spain do have a really good chance of getting into the next round of this competition. And don't forget, you can find plenty more Euro content not only on the OneFootball app, but on the Volkswagen OneHub as well, so make sure you check them out. And if you're watching on YouTube, the links are directly beneath this video. Next up, and Lionel Messi had a fantastic night in Copa America as he became the most capped player for Argentina in his 148th appearance against Bolivia. He overtook Javier Mascherano's record with style as he managed not only 2 goals but an assist as well. Messi was in fantastic form for the occasion. Not only did he set up the first goal for Papu Gomez, he scored a penalty. He then chipped Bolivia's goalkeeper Carlos Lampe from outside the box to score his second goal, and the all-time top goal scorer for Argentina now has 75 goals. Considering that Bolivia were actually already out of the competition, they showed great character as they did try to fight to get back into the game as they scored a goal, but they just couldn't find a way. And then after they scored the goal, Lautaro Martinez came onto the pitch. He'd only been on 2 minutes. He managed to score another goal for Argentina and completely kill the game. Hats off to Carlos Lampe, Bolivia's goalkeeper. He was brilliant and did manage to put in some really good saves. And I feel like Argentina will probably be walking away from the game feeling like they could have scored a few more goals. So this means that Argentina finish at the top of Group A and they will face Ecuador in the quarter-finals, as Lionel Messi is still on the hunt for his first major trophy for Argentina. And could this be their year? They're looking pretty good, but the current champions Brazil are still in the competition, as are Uruguay, the most decorated nation in Copa America, as they managed to beat Paraguay 1-0 to leapfrog in Group A from 4th position to finish in 2nd. So if Argentina really are going to win Copa America, I think that they've still got a few more hurdles to jump. Our next story is all about Sergio Ramos, as according to ESPN and multiple sources, Ramos is weighing up his options with 3 clubs that are reportedly interested in him since, of course, his announcement that he will be departing from Real Madrid when his contract ends on June 30th. And the 3 clubs that are in contention for the player are reportedly Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern Munich. So first up, let's take a look at Manchester City. Now, according to ESPN a while ago, City were always interested in the player if he did not renew with Real Madrid. They are allegedly going to offer him a 2-year deal, which would take him up to 2023. They would then assess their options. If they feel that he's still good enough to be at City, he would stay there. If not, they would possibly offer him a role at their Major League Soccer club, New York City FC. So sources have told ESPN that Pep Guardiola reportedly believes that Ramos is the perfect experienced defender to slot in alongside the likes of Ruben Diaz, John Stones, Nathan Ake, Aymeric Laporte, who are all 27 and under, especially since Aymeric Laporte's future at Manchester City isn't completely clear. So there could be a spot for Ramos. He wants Champions League football. He would get that with Manchester City. He is a little bit concerned reportedly about the transition to Manchester with his family, but I'm just not too sure how much game time Ramos would get. He's used to being, one of the main starters for Real Madrid. Would Pep Guardiola really rock the boat considering how well Diaz and Stones have been linking up just to put Ramos in? Why stifle the progression of some of their young talent just for Sergio Ramos to play at the club for 2 years? Unless, of course, he's happy at maybe being 3rd or 4th best, I'm not too sure. And then there is PSG. The main motivation for signing the player is reportedly Mauricio Pochettino. He is apparently a long-term fan of Ramos and believes that the experience that he has, especially in the Champions League, would be able to help them in their pursuit of the trophy and also in their league. But at the end of the day, it can't just be Sergio Ramos that saves this team and gets them a Champions League trophy. And also, signing a centre-back is not the priority of PSG. They already have 4 competent centre-backs. So again, I'm not too sure where Ramos would fit in, kind of similar to the Manchester City situation. And if he would truly be happy with the amount of game time he would potentially get at the club. And then there is Bayern Munich. Of course, they already have the likes of Dayot Upamecano, Tanguy Nzonzi and Nicolas Sule, but they have seen the departure of 2 massive names, Jerome Boateng and David Alaba, so they will be looking for an experienced defender to kind of take over the roles that they had, and I really do feel that Ramos could be a great fit. So bringing Ramos in would mean that I think he would definitely get more game time than he would at Manchester City and PSG. He's still in contention for the Champions League. It's a great new challenge in Germany. I personally thought he would be heading back to Sevilla, which is where it all, of course, started for him. But out of these 3 options that ESPN are reporting, for me, Bayern Munich is the best fit. And finally, we have our transfer roundup. This is where I take a look at some of the other news and transfers going on in the footballing world. And first up, Rennes have reportedly stated that they have had no formal offers for their player Eduardo Camavinga, despite the fact that he's been linked with Manchester United and PSG. Liverpool could sign Porto's attacking midfielder Otavio before the deadline on Wednesday of his £34 million release clause. Over in Italy, and according to reports, Roma are even closer now to agreeing a deal for Wolves goalkeeper Rui Patricio. And finally, it seems like Norwich City are closing in on the loan signing of Chelsea's Billy Gilmour. So that's everything for today's OneFootball Daily News. As always, check out all the other content that we've got here, and until next time, I will see you all later.